Hi, everyone. I am Tammy Govea, and welcome to what I'm calling the Fireside Chat. It is a wrap up for the year 2025. I am joined in studio by James Lott Jr., the CEO and creator of the multimedia network on YouTube called JLJ Media. He has been a mentor, a friend, and we just have a lot to talk about, and looking forward to sharing it all with you.
Hello.
Hello, darling.
This is Tammy Govea.
Hello. Let's clink from afar.
Cheers.
Cheers, my
We're
dear.
gonna go all the way around.
Yeah, I haven't choreographed this, so we'll do that.
I'm an organizer, so I always look at things ahead of time.
Oh, my goodness. Thank
Good.
you, Lamarca, for this bubbly.
Sponsor her show, Lamarca. Sponsor her
Please.
show.
It's awfully fun. When I called you or texted you or probably videotaped you. Videotaped. That's all we do is send each other videotapes.
All the time. All the time.
I thought it would be fun to come in studio.
You love it.
What, to December 29th?
Yes.
To the 29th?
Yeah, today's 29th. Yeah.
2025. It has been a year.
Yes, it has.
Yeah. Challenges, crises,
Yes.
personally, professionally, pretty friggin' stellar.
Yes, I am. Yeah, no complaints. None. Professionally, no complaints. None. Personally, lots of complaints. Professionally, no complaints.
Tell me a couple of words that describe the year for you.
Oh, okay. We're going deep. Okay. Couple of words. I love words. I would say eye-opening. I've said that many times this year. Eye-opening and clarity.
That's a really good word.
I love clarity.
And when something is eye-opening, it gives you clarity.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
We'll see you guys next time. That's it.
That's it,
everybody. See you next 2026.
Mic drop.
Yeah, that's it. No, but those are two words that came up so much. I was going to say epiphany also. Those are three words for me that have just over and over again come up for me, professionally and personally.
I want to say for me, and I haven't given this any thought. I just thought of that question. So I'm going to say elevated.
Ooh. Yes, yes, okay.
Both more professionally than
Yes.
personally.
Yeah.
But we'll work on the elevation personally come 2026. But definitely professionally.
Oh, yeah.
Just
You have. Oh, yeah.
elevated. And, considering all of the challenges, it has been a very centering year for me.
What is one thing that you are taking away from all the yeses you've said this year professionally?
To not question the yes. And this is something you've always brought into my life of just say yes to the ringtones and say yes. Say yes to
phone.
everything that happens.
Answer the phone.
You go with the flow. It'll get figured out.
Yeah, they always say
and
that.
It'll be fine.
Yes.
And there have absolutely been moments, and these were firsts for me, where I ended up doing something by myself that was unplanned. Whether it was a professional event or personal.
Yeah.
I've been invited to places and no one wanted to go with me and I was going to go by myself. And it's, girl going to a party by herself. That's kind of weird, but it's not.
No,
it's not.
No.
And it just reminded me that that's a very natural part of who I am. And I took this, what was his name? He was a casting director for MASH. Christian. Oh, you should text Mark J. Freeman. Because he passed away. I wanted to say he passed away in 24. But anyway, I took a class of his when I was living in Hollywood. And was all about first impressions and how people make their first impression of you literally within the 10 or 15 seconds of meeting you. Yeah. So he put us through these weird exercises. We would go to the airport, LAX, with our little clipboards. People probably thought, oh gosh, what cult are they with?
Right.
And it was just a list of adjectives. It's a check off words that when you look at me, you think of.
How funny.
And you come up with consistency. People perceive you in a pretty consistent manner. And one of the terms for me was arrives unescorted.
Oh.
So there was that sense of just kind of autonomy and
Yeah.
independence and that sort of thing. And I hadn't thought about that until this year.
When I was on, this is not a brag or anything, but when I was on Jimmy Kimmel Live, and I made history. That was the first time the public around the world was judging me. Going on your note. And there were so many adjectives to describe me. They don't know me. They see me on screen having this moment with Jimmy Kimmel and with the other guests. And I was on the whole show. And in the comments, because it was in one day, it was 1 million views online. And 99.9% of the comments were positive, which is weird. They said, they called me, said, James, this never happens. One person called me fat. So I remember you. That's fine. I won't call your name. But the rest were all basically kind of like, he's blank. He's blank. He's blank. I mean, all these positive adjectives. It was like, so this is the world who does not know me, who doesn't watch my shows in my little world. They don't know anything about me. This is their first time seeing me. See all your thing. And I'm like, that's how it's perceived. And they're pretty accurate. I mean, I am pretty much like easygoing and this. But it's just funny that they don't know me. So on your thing, I got that on a really large scale immediately. That was their first impression of me. Who's this guy? Where does James come from? Oh my God. And it was all these adjectives. That's how people write.
So how did that level of reflection affect you?
It was weird. I've gone viral a couple times. They call it going viral. But this was different because this is, it's late night television, which I don't watch anymore. I'm in bed dead by then. But it goes into it's network. It goes into everyone's homes. What we do is very selective. Even if we do a film, which we've both done films, or commercials, it depends on where it's going to be airing. This felt so intrusive. And so it was overwhelming.
Intrusive for you, how?
Yes. It was like, oh my God, everyone saw me. Just about it. Because I was getting messages from my high school ex-girlfriends. I was getting friends from elementary school, people from jobs that I had 30 years going, I know James. And he started posting pictures of me pre-social media. I'm on social media. I came on in 2007 to Facebook, 2009 to Twitter. I had MySpace for a minute. Remember MySpace? And I could control what I posted on there.
You can't control what other people post.
But I'm saying, they're going with the Polaroids and the Kodak camera. I mean, these are pictures from like back in the day. So it was like all of a sudden, this is my buddy James. I knew him 30 years ago. We used to work together. This picture of me, my hair out to here with drinks in my hand. So it felt very intrusive. Like all of a sudden people can go, now it's my chance to use him to let people know that I know him.
Right. 6 degrees of separation kind of thing. Yeah.
Right. So it was intrusive to me. So it was weird.
Did it bother you?
A little bit.
Yeah.
Certain people did. Others it did. I was like, oh yeah, oh my God. I mean, I stand by anything I did or done did. I stand by it. But it was a weird, it was happening all at once. And people who stopped being my friend or stopped talking to me were using me also on their pages.
Sure.
And that pissed me off.
Human nature.
Yeah, so of course. I should have known that. But it was like, you don't get to have that. But of course you can, because it's Jimmy Kimmel Live, which is a public situation.
So do you think when it happens again, when you're on that kind of platform. It's prepared you in some degree, or it's just still something you're wrapping your head around? And
Good question. I have no idea. I said it's the times I've gone viral for certain things. I'm thinking about that bread video, of course, that's everywhere. Um, my reaction is different. Everything's different. It depends on who it is and different. I know, and I can hear some of my friends go, "Yeah, you've been viral. We've never been viral before. I've never been on Jimmy Kimmel, blah, blah, blah." And I get it, but just it's when you get that level of exposure.
Mhm.
I mean, it really is a big deal. And of course, it's fleeting. Once you're done, they go on to somebody else. But at that moment, when everybody is talking about you, it's a trip. It's a total trip. That be once also on Twitter a few years ago. I was in a Twitter feud, and everybody was talking about. I was a hashtag that day, and that didn't feel good because it was a negative hashtag thing. And I was like, wow, this is a trip when you really are so I can't only imagine if you are an A-lister or somebody who's just famous. I have a friend right now on a primetime hit TV show. And I can see he's changing. It's different.
Yeah, that level of blast, it's like seeing your face in Times Square on one of
Right.
those billboards.
Yes.
That it's just, you kind of leave your body.
Yeah.
The experience
Yes.
is just so otherworldly.
When I watch myself on Jimmy Kimmel and look at it, I'm like, that is me, but I don't feel like it's me.
Yeah.
Like I'm watching this guy named James.
Yeah.
But it's me. I was there. I have the memories. But I'm like, Wanda Sykes is talking about me. Okay, that's kind of great. Like, but I remember having my own dressing room and having my name on it. I mean, I have all. But watching it on TV, I'm like, same thing when I was on Let's Make a Deal, and me and Wayne Brady are going back and forth. I'm doing my Darth Vader impression. That was another time I went viral. It was kind of like, that's right, daytime TV. Everybody watches, and I love Wayne Brady. And he was great. And I just want to say, in between the scenes, he was wonderful. But I got called for the first game, and I lost. I had to pick the wrong letter. But before that, though, I get to do my Darth Vader impression, and we were trying to out Darth Vader each other. Right? Do voices. I'm like, I just did that. Like, that was crazy. And people saw it. I'm like, that's a trip. They loved it. People loved it. And I was dressed as a giant taco.
I love that taco outfit.
I know.
You showed up at AfterBuzz in the taco outfit.
I was dressed as a giant taco on national television. So obviously, I have no shame. Clearly, I have no shame.
Yeah, I think it was a first for me this year with the commercial.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Folks, Tammy is. We're like, oh my God, it's Tammy as a Harry Potter grandma.
I had a very small taste of that when I had a small part in American Sniper. And I'd have people texting me at the movie theater going, "Oh my gosh, I just saw you with Bradley Cooper." And it was, thank you, Uncle Clint. I still get residual checks for that. Thank you.
You know, Clint.
But I wasn't expecting any kind of response from the commercial because of the wig.
Oh.
And the costume.
It's you.
And that sort of thing. And people said the minute you said something.
Yes.
Which I never thought, oh no.
You gotta see this. I'm like, that's Tammy.
I never thought of having anything that truly identifies me. But when people say, saw your face, saw your smile, saw your, heard your voice, you realize, oh, I do have an identity. There is something about me that stands out that people click with, identify with.
Okay, folks at home, you know this about Tammy Govea. Your other identity is, and my family says this, and our friends say this, you have this, you come across as this kind of ethereal being.
I don't understand.
Homegirl here glides across rooms. That's all you do. You don't walk, you glide. Like, and I remember my sister met you, my brother-in-law met you at the Sean Kane, the first event that me and Sean did. And they're like, oh
at the Grove?
At the Grove.
Okay.
Like, oh my God, we love Tammy Govea. Like, she's just like gliding. That's what he said. She just glides across the room and disappears. And and I know so many, we do all these audio dramas together, and all the men are just like, Tammy Govea. It's like they picture you they picture you a certain way that's kind of on a pedestal, so to speak, but they kind of Picture this person who just glides across rooms and graces with your presence.
Oh,
They do. So somebody adjectives, but people impressions. That's the impression
first
you give people,
impressions,
right?
yeah.
We can't help them, right? We can't people think I'm a big teddy bear. They love me, so they mean, oh, I love you. Oh my God, you're so funny, so nice. It's whatever we are.
And your voice.
My voice gets it all the time.
It supports that, comforting,
Yeah.
trusting.
Yes.
Yeah, you just want to cozy up to the voice and the man because it's safe and good.
And I didn't know about that till I was in my 30s. I realized, because I've had deep voices since I was 13. One summer I was, hi. Next summer I was like, hi. It was like, first it was ma'am, then it was sir. I have the deepest voice in my family. Out of my brothers, my father, I have the deepest voice. So I remember in my 30s, I realized, oh, if I really turn it on, I can get whatever I want.
Mm.
Also, I turn it on, I can get into trouble.
'Tis a fine line.
It's both. and my voice has been one of my carrying cards. Clearly, I did a show the other day. I did a panel discussion about AI and loved ones who have passed. It's coming out soon. It's one of my shows. It's a really great episode. But two of the girls said, James, tell me you've done radio. I go, yeah, I had a radio show. Like, we knew it. We heard your voice. We heard you. I mean, I didn't even say, but like, hi, how are you? They're like, we knew it. So you're right. That's what we have, calling cards. And in your commercial, so you said, you got to see that. We got to check it out. Whatever you say, you got to check this out. You're like, that's Tammy.
And it's fascinating because honestly, and I don't think I've ever said this to anyone, honestly, the reason I think I got the commercial, because I didn't get it for my hair. They put me in a wig.
Get it in a wig, yeah.
I didn't get it because I'm a true grandma age.
Oh, right, yeah.
I mean, I could be, but
Right,
you look at me and you don't think grandma, right?
No.
But I loved the concept. I mean, the Harry Potter and just the concept of magic.
Oh, okay.
And believing in magic and believing in miracles.
You sold them on that.
I felt it. When I went into the room for these opportunities.
It was an audition, live audition.
Oh yeah, I went in. It was an audition. I think it was 2 callbacks.
Wow.
And every single time it was just, I get the magic. I get how amazing it feels, and being able to enter worlds that anything is possible. Anything beautiful is possible.
Right.
I still resonate with that.
Yeah.
And so I think I walked away from that experience saying, I want everything in my life to be magical. We can't control how other people perceive our content or what we do.
Nope.
But that's the place that I'm coming from.
Yeah.
And I want every connection to have just that little sprinkle of surprise, right?
Yes.
As we get older, we lose that element of being surprised.
The people I've talked to, like Tony Basil and my late friend, Shabby Quinones, and a few others who, they were dancers, but I would ask them, how do you still dance at 70-something years old? And they both said separate interviews separately, I remember the inner child. So the inner child is dancing still. My body is 74, but the inner child is dancing. And he said the same thing. It was my body's 65, wherever he was at the time. But he's like, I'm still dancing. Like when my 20-year-old is still dancing. I'm like, so what you just said is like, that's the whole thing. And I'm kind of childlike. And so I like to be silly and have a good time and say crazy things. But that's part of the child. That's part of my teenage years that I bring with me to whatever we do. Because we're here to entertain, first of all. That's what we're here to do.
You've always said first and foremost.
Always.
Yeah.
I don't care what it is. You have to. People have so many choices on what they can watch and listen to, and 5 people can do the same subject. Maybe 1 or 2 of them will grab your attention because of the way they're talking about it. I do a lot of shows where a lot of people do those same subjects. I do a lot of Star Wars stuff. We do soap stuff. I'm doing shows that we're not the only show doing it. But why are we popular? Why are we getting the downloads? Why are we getting the views? It's the way we do it.
Well, I think when you come from an organic, real place and your enthusiasm is real, your curiosity is real, your interest
Yes.
is real, people connect and resonate with that
I agree with that.
because you don't get it. You don't get that kind of engagement across the board.
No.
It's much more superficial.
Yes. But I want to ask you a question. I never had a chance to ask you this question on camera, or even in real life. I'd ask you this question. So you had to fill in for me as lead at the Emmys this year, daytime Emmys this year, which is a big thing this year. We got back in. The JLJ Media got back in. That was a big professional win. But I couldn't go last minute because, folks, I got chicken pox at 56 years old. I got chicken pox. That's just one of the main challenges I got this year. But you had to step in for me because Candace Mack was now the person working kind of no experience, but kind of you had to be the lead. How did that feel? Because you were thrown into it. So how did that feel?
Well, I was thankful. This is going to sound so odd for the Young and the Restless 13,000th episode
which you did by yourself.
that we were supposed to do.
Yes.
And I get the phone call. It wasn't the day of. It was the night before.
Yeah, before.
Saying my voice. I don't have a voice.
My voice.
I've been waiting, like maybe tomorrow, and I panicked. And it was fine.
It was.
You know,
You did a great job.
First and foremost, because we so love the daytime genre, and we so love the folks in front of and behind the cameras who have always been so supportive of us, that the minute I walked into the soundstage, I was being taken care of.
Yes.
Everyone was disappointed that you weren't there and felt horrible that you weren't feeling well.
I'm sure.
But I was brought into the fold. Anything I needed. Do you need anything? Do you want anything? Here's your space. I felt safe. And, I had I didn't have a camera. I didn't have anything. So I used my phone for audio, just like a lot of the other boys and girls that don't have a lot, the big setup. Yeah. And that experience prepped me for the Emmys. Okay. Makes sense. In a small sense, because, it's the daytime Emmys. It's a whole other animal. Yeah.
That makes sense, though.
And so I did have a moment a couple of days before the Emmys where I thought, please, James, do not give me that phone call.
I guarantee you.
And you called me and said, I have chicken pox. You have a choice. You don't have to do this. If you don't want to, I totally get it. It was just one of those.
I was praying, so don't say no. Say yes.
Yeah,
say yes.
It was just, and you would have done the same if I had called you. It's like, at the end of the day, we got to figure it out. Yeah. Right?
Yes. Yes.
Bringing Candace on, we had talked about it. Like,
you did.
It's like, well, okay, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Yeah. It's always good to have a second body there.
Yes.
So once we're there, we'll see how we do this. And she not only rose to the occasion, she just blossomed. I agree. And that was a really beautiful thing to see.
I agree.
And having that kind of support meant the world to me, to you, to JLJ Media. So it was magical.
There you go.
It was magical.
Well, I will tell you, part of my eye-opening clarity duo, the 13,000th and Annika Noel's Bachelorette thing and the Emmys.
Yeah.
What it told me is...
And the ribbon cutting ceremony.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Well, I was there, but it was without me.
Without you. Oh, got it.
These 3 events that were for JLJ Media, plus I have my whole Indiana contingent. They're doing stuff instead of me for shows. Show that JLJ Media now can send people out. I feel like I matured into a true media outlet. Because it wasn't always James having to be there. Yes, everybody said I'm not there, and I get that, and I love that. But I could say, okay, Tammy, if you want to cover this over here for JLJ Media, I trust you. Or Doug Hess, you want to cover this over here? I trust. This year was the first year I was like, ooh, if I can't make it to something and someone else can, I can now trust that they'll take care of it. That's a real business jump up. That was very eye-opening and very clarifying for me that
Was
I
it
could do that.
was it difficult because there's a release in that?
There is.
You know, you can quote delegates, delegation,
Yes.
but it's more than that because JLJ Media is your baby,
Right.
right? Like the content that we create, it's so, very personal.
Yes. It reminded me of when my daughter, Monica Alicia, was going off to kindergarten because we were now releasing her to a full day at school. Not that her mother and I weren't ready for her to do it, but it was just kind of like, oh, it's not just gone for a few hours here and there. Now she's gone for like 8 hours. I'm supposed to go to work and like not think about her and do my job while I'm wondering, is she okay? Is she eating? Is she sleeping? Is she being a bitch? Or whatever. They deal with kids. I'm wondering what's going on and is she okay? And is she like thinking about us? And well, she was fine. She didn't care. She was fine. She's much like me. But it was like, that's what this felt like. Like, okay, well, I have to release the baby to kindergarten
Mm.
and go over here and do what I got to do over here. And you guys are my little babies. They're in kindergarten, but now we're past kindergarten. Now I'm good. Now I know that it's, you know what I'm looking for. You know what I represent. You guys kind of align with what I represent. That's very important. But I want your personalities out there. I want you guys to bring some of yourself to whatever you're doing because it diversifies JLJ Media.
And that's really one of the hallmarks of your network is the diversity.
That's it.
At first, you know, because there's that concept of you got to have your niche. If you want an audience, you got to have your niche, which is basically one thing, and you build on that. And that's not the road that you've gone down. And it works for you because that's who you are.
Yes. I'm a multi-hyphenate. I say it all the time. I've been that way since I was a kid. I was told some bad advice years ago by someone who wanted to represent me. They're like, well, James, yes, you do so many things really well, but I need you to pick, like I said, one thing and drop the rest. And I said, no. And they said, well, James, you're going to fail. Well, I'm going to say who the person is. You know who you are. And obviously you're wrong. Because we're finding nowadays you can't just do one thing anymore. See, a lot of folks have these cliche things they've done, but even they're having to redo and shift and pivot and change. All ideas get old after a while. So you have to figure out a way where your base is still there, the basics, but you add little things here and there that hopefully align with that. I mean, so many people nowadays that I interview, and I know you are too, where they have their hands in 2 or 3 different things. I'm not saying do all the things that I do, but I'm just saying that you may do 2 or 3 things. You'll all be successful as long as you have the right partnerships and time management and all that, productivity. You can do it. But we're finding, especially in Los Angeles, this is LA off the record. Sometimes it's best that you have several hands in several pots. Because in different cases, one thing may die down for a while and the other thing goes up.
And I think too, humans aren't one-dimensional.
Nope.
We're multifaceted. We have several things we love. We have several things we don't love. And as creatives, it's important to have all those parts expressed. But I think this year in particular, I found with some like a classic, Voices of Daytime, LA Off the Record, there's going to be a 4th one kicking off next year. To your point, there's still a through line. Those shows may spotlight specific conversations, but there's a through line. And for me, this year was about discovering what that through line is that means so much to me.
Right.
And that's the concept of legacy,
Okay.
the concept of preservation, not only of history, but buildings and preservation, and the art of the conversation.
Yes.
That at the end of the day, and I think we all have them copy. I think anyone who does a podcast does it because they love having a conversation with someone.
Yeah.
And that it's our responsibility to make sure that art stays alive, because people are so disconnected because of social media and so many other reasons.
I love that I get a pitch for a guest, and just about anything, I have a show for them. Whether it's me doing it or my other host or you doing it, they can come to JLJ Media, and chances are about 95% of the time, I have a show for them. And I always say my brain is cut up into like 20 parts. I like 20 different. I like sports. I like art, organization. I'm also a former nurse. I mean, I have a whole bunch of stuff in there anyway. So when I do a certain show, I get a chance to access that piece and fulfill it. For that half an hour, 40 minutes, an hour, I get to talk about nursing again. I love talking about it. Let's talk about that. Or I can talk about baseball. Let's talk about baseball. Sure. Let's talk about baseball in the 80s. Sure. Let's talk about that. Or soap operas, or Star Wars, or Only Murders in the Building, or organizing and productivity, or I get to, or my Asian upbringing. I have a new show on that. Like it's been a lot of fun tapping into those different parts of my brain for each show, and then I feel fulfilled for the day. I'm like, I'm good. Because a lot of times, in our personal lives, we don't have friends for every single thing we do or every single interest. Even our partner may not have every interest that we have. So sometimes we're clogged in some areas or lacking in some areas. You're like, I wish I had somebody to talk to you about the Steelers, Pittsburgh Steelers. I wish I got somebody that's my little circle. None of them like football. Not in my life. I have that. But I'm just saying there's nobody in my life that, and so because I have friends who like old cars. That's not my thing. For them, they can try to find somebody you can talk about. So I feel like a lot of times we are lacking or missing conversation about certain things. Well, on JLJ Media, I'm never lacking. At some point, we're talking about something that I like, which is everything.
What I find fascinating about this year is, and you've brought this up, how the personal side of things has been challenging, frustrating, terrifying, horrific, exhausting.
Yes.
But professionally, everything has just skyrocketed. How do you compartmentalize those things so that you can continue working?
So I have two things. One, I'm having to navigate the personal stuff in order and find a way to be able to do the professional stuff, because the personal stuff has gotten in the way. We just mentioned chicken pox, losing a voice, or my mother almost dying, or me getting certain diagnoses. There's certain things that come up and you're like, I can't do this show, or I can't go to this thing, or I can't do that red carpet.
You had an event recently that you couldn't go to because mom was on the phone crying. And you just wanted to hang up on her and go to the party, but you couldn't.
I couldn't. So it's sometimes they just overlap. I'm finding out. But the other bigger part of it is, and I've had therapists who just laugh at me because they think it's funny. For me, my work, my professional life, I love it. So I never want to leave. That's my sanctuary. I love to work. So no matter what I'm doing, because I told myself when I turned 40 years old, which was 10,000 years ago, I said, I will never work a job ever again that I don't like. I had to when I was younger. I had kids to raise and some expensive cities like San Francisco, I had to take some jobs. Always worked out of them to go to the job I needed or wanted. But like there were times I had to take jobs that I was like, I used to clean mortuaries and things like that. I took all kind of jobs that I didn't like. But I said at 40, no, we're going to do this differently and actively look for jobs that are jobs that you do not mind doing. And I've done that for the last 17 years. I'm very proud of myself. So work, I love it. I love this. I love every aspect. I love the planning process and meetings and interviewing and brainstorming. I mean, I'm writing a song right now for a future album. I was doing that today, and it's like if I could do that 24/7, I would. But then there's all the challenges that I have to look out for myself, and I have a mother looking after. I'm her main caregiver.
It's the cycle of life.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a lesson. I don't know what the lesson is yet. That's to find out later. Maybe 2026 it'll become clear. But there's a reason why the personal stuff's happening the way it's happening, and the professional stuff's happening the way it's happening. There's a reason for it. I think it's all about growth on some level. In the end, I will have grown because of both. But I think there's another reason there somewhere, and I don't know what it is yet. I'm okay not knowing it right now. I'm okay with like figuring that out.
You got enough to think about.
Yeah. I'm like, cheese and crackers, I'll have another gummy, please. But I was like, there's a reason why this is happening at the same time. And I have no problem saying this. I've been diagnosed with cancer recently. And so there's a reason why that's happening right now. There's a reason. But in my personal life, I've met someone I'm talking to at the same time. It's really great. So like, there's a reason why the yin and yang are happening all at the same time. There's a total reason for it. I believe that. So I'm just I just step through it. You know what I mean? You got to walk through it. You can't walk around it. You can't walk by it. I just, you know me, I'm a survivor. I'm a thriver. You know me, we'll handle it. You know, I'm like, we're going to handle it. In my family, in my circle of people, a lot of times I'm the calm one. I just stay calm. I just handle things. And that's kind of how I am. It's a step by step by step. In my size 14 shoes, I just like plod through and be like, we're gonna handle this, we'll handle that, we'll handle this, and you've been there with some of the stuff, obviously, you know, some of the stuff's going on, and me being left alone in a room the other day. Oh, I still can't understand that. But so I just learned that life is bonkers. It's bonkers.
I think too, it's been a year for the both of us, but I can see you more clearly than I can see myself, if that makes sense. But I think we've both gone down the same road in regards to boundaries.
Yes, that's the thing. That's my new thing with 2026.
Right? It's such a cliche, self-care.
Yeah.
But it's prioritizing your mental health, your physical health, because if you're not doing well, you can't help anybody else.
Right.
And they tell you go on an airplane, when the oxygen masks drop, put yours on first
and then help.
And that always confused me. Right. When I first heard that, like, what are you talking about? Yes. But that makes sense. Right. It makes total sense. And
yes.
I've practiced the art of releasing and allowing. Not necessarily being super specific about what I'm releasing, just releasing everything and anyone that no longer supports me.
Yep.
For whatever my highest good is, whatever my destiny is, which is far better than what I could ever imagine. Right? We limit ourselves. Yes. So I am just take it, universe, God, whatever you want to call it, whatever that energy is for you. Take it, not resisting. Now I'm allowing what does support me and what does fulfill me.
I want to jump in really quick because when you bring up self-care, I want to say this very clearly to people who are watching or listening to the show. Telling me, I know people are well-meaning, And people will tell me like, well, Jay, you should get a spa day or you should get a massage. Sure, that's great. When you're a caregiver, self-care isn't always that. Self-care looks like, why don't you help me go shopping for groceries? Why don't you send me, maybe send me something from through DoorDash so I don't have to cook for my mother and I tonight. Maybe it's like offering to maybe help me clean my room or do laundry with me or sit with my mother or sit with me. Like, to me, that's self-care. I've learned that this last year, 2 years, that it's not necessarily, well, Jay, just go to the beach and hang out. Well, I do all that stuff. I do all that stuff. I do that stuff, but like, sometimes that's not the answer. The answer is I need help also.
Take these things off my plate.
Yes.
Help me take
So I
these
want people to
things.
see that when you have friends or people who are going through stuff, sometimes the self-care is literally, I'm going to come and get you, because our friend Full of Boys will do sometimes. I'm going to come and get you. You running errands. And then we go somewhere and get something to eat. And we laugh for an hour. That's self-care to me. I'm like, yeah, I get massages. I know, I get all that. It's great. Or go in the corner and read a book. Fuck reading a book. Fuck that. I'm talking about like sometimes your friends or family need you to participate.
It's accessing the community.
Yes.
Yes.
Because there are a lot of folks who either don't know how to do that, so you have to kind of help them with that. Anything negative is kind of weird for them. They don't know how to handle it, they don't know what to do or say. So you help them with that. Then there are others who simply just don't want to be involved. So I always say, meet people where they're at. So I've learned for the last couple of years. And if your thing is sending me memes all day long, I'll take it. Make me laugh. If your thing is, I'll send your mom, she loved your cake, by the way, her Never Tell cake. She told me to tell you she loved it. Probably do a video tomorrow when I see her. Sending her something to eat. She needs to eat. She loves it. That's good. Or if somebody goes, I always tell her friends, just call and text her. She'll text you back,
To your point, though, I'm playing devil's advocate here.
Yes.
There are people who have the martyr syndrome.
Yes, there was that too.
And
yes.
you can offer dinner. You can offer this, that, or the other. And they're like, no, I'm fine. Which I have no patience or tolerance for it at all. I don't support that at all. So people need to know who you are, who James Lott Jr. is. Express what it is you need. And then see where it all lands, right? Yeah. Then see what happens.
Because I came home from a work trip in early January, the day of the fires here in LA. Literally we landed, we saw the fires that were coming in. I got off the plane, I had ash in my hair. I got home, my whole lawn was covered in, it was crazy. And I had cousins who lost their homes in Altadena. So I came in hot, so to speak, helping them out, come to my house, you can shower. Remember I was doing a whole gift card thing, I was doing all this stuff. Then my roof collapsed the next month. And I had people go online. I have a couple of shows where I actually showed the water gushing in at 2 a.m. And I had giant trash cans filling up. I'm dumping I'm like, it was, it's insane. I look back at it now, I'm like, it was insane. It never rains in LA. And my roof collapsed. So we had to have that ordeal. I mean, I've had some things this year that just like my mother almost died a second time in July from high calcium. Like, is she drinking buckets of milk? I'm like, no, I was drinking buckets of milk. I don't know where that came from. So it's been, like I said, with my cancer diagnosis, it's just been like a true year of just stuff. And literally, as we're talking today, my father, who I haven't spoken to in like 7 years, decided to reach out to me on one of my videos. And I was like, that's very ironic at the end of the year of all this stuff, a man who we have no relationship decided to let it be known he saw one of my videos or something. It's a little selfish thing.
Do you know what video it was?
Yes, my video was I Don't Love My Father. I did a vlog on that. People ask me questions, my show JLJ After Dark. People ask me questions. They ask me, do I love my parents? And I go, I love my mom. It's very complicated, but I love her. My father, I realized I don't love him. He was not in my siblings and I all feel the same. He was not in our lives, really. He was off and on. He was not a good father. I remember thinking, I said, I have no good memories with him at all. And my video was that I forgave him. I went through lots of therapy, but I forgave him, and I was able to tell him that 7 years ago. And he rejected my whole thing. He called me all these names, but he rejected my forgiveness. But my whole point to the fans was that I still forgive him, whether he accepts it or not. For me, I released it. So if I see him, I would say hi to him, whatever. So him answering the thing, I didn't freak out. I thought, oh, this is interesting. He's like, James Lott Sr. and all this stuff. He was like this whole thing. So I go, the 1,000 videos I put out a year, that's the one he's deciding to comment on. Now, I don't know if he watches my other videos or whatever, but I thought, or someone told him about that video. But I thought it was kind of funny. At the end of the year, that comes up, but my resolve is still the same. We have no relationship. If he was earnest and really wanted something from me or with me, he would contact me off camera, off the record. He would. If he really was sincere and wanted something, there was no sincerity in that whole thing. It was just, I'm glad you're thriving. This was hard to hear, but I'm glad you're thriving. Okay.
So it sounds like, too, in some odd way, it gave you more clarity.
Oh, completely.
Yes. It was just an affirmation.
Yeah.
Like, you're good, James.
Yes.
Just stay the course.
Well, he said, our messy relationship notwithstanding. That's how you started the sentence. And the clarity I had was, well, it's not messy. It's just no relationship. Messy implies we're back and forth, and my mother and I have a messy relationship. I would say that if we'll be honest. But I'm like, no, you and I have no relationship.
Right. Something that's messy implies engagement.
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
It's been 7 years. Like, you're in LA. I know you're out there with your family. I know you're out there somewhere, but we have not engaged. There's been no fighting, nothing. I'm like, how's it messy? It was messy 7 years ago, but not now. It's like, so just told the clarity was, he's still in a certain space that I'm not in. He views it a certain way that I don't even see it that way. And he doesn't have the wherewithal to really understand. If you really just talk to me a regular way with some kind of sincerity, who knows what could happen between us? But he doesn't know how to do that, apparently. He just doesn't. And half of his kids, he has no issues with them. He doesn't know how to talk to us like just regular people. Like, most of us we forgave you. Like, oh, whatever. We're all old now. You did what you did, and then life goes on. But most of my life has been without him. So I'm like, I can't hold anything on you. Whatever I've done, good or bad, the last, we'll say, how old am I? 35 years, is on me. Once I turned 18, that's it. He had no decision in any of my decisions that I've made in my life. But then at the same time, my brother Jay and I had this talk yesterday. I recognize the parts of him that are in me.
For sure.
And
Absolutely. Yeah.
I totally accept it. Same with my mother. There's parts of her in me. Well, obviously her face. But besides that, I accept that there's parts of him that have fueled me in a good way. His ambition, well-spoken, smart, he's a connector in his work. And that's me. I have his name, James Lott Jr. I get it. And so I'm actually okay with it. Like, he's taught me some stuff. There was a joke, I was going to write a book called Really Good Advice from a Really Bad Father. He taught me some stuff, and I was like, that is true in business.
But that's perspective. That's you looking for something worthwhile.
Yes.
Something that's going to support you instead of beat you down.
Yes.
Yes. And that's a choice, and we all have that choice.
We do. People don't think we have that choice.
We do. We absolutely do. It's not easy.
No.
It's not a light switch. Okay.
I mean, I fought with them not counting the 18 years I had to grow up with them off and on, but the first 20 years of my adult life till I turned 40, I was trying to make him the father I wanted. until I realized, oh, he could never live up to whatever I wanted.
So when you talk about aspects of him in you that's fueled you, are you talking professionally?
Both.
Like, do you see that reflected in JLJ Media?
Yes. Well, I see it both personally and professionally because I became the father I didn't have. My daughters have told me. I wasn't perfect, obviously. Nobody's perfect, but I'm close to both my girls. And my grandson and I had a really interesting talk. My grown grandson and I had a really interesting talk recently. So I'm finding out that I was the grandfather he needed. The joke I always have is you will not know how well you are as a parent until 20 years later, probably. And they grew up, they tell you. So yes, part of James Lott Sr. is imprinted in James Lott Jr., the father, the grandfather, and the entrepreneur, and the worker, and the gig worker, and the connector.
Generational trauma is real.
Ooh, yeah.
It's real.
Yes.
And I think when I think about my mom and my father, and um, there was a lot of foregoing the dream.
Oh.
Everyone, my mom had always wanted to be a nurse,
Oh.
but never felt supported. So she didn't go down that road. And she would have been a phenomenal nurse.
Wow, that's why she didn't do that. Because for women, they always think
Phenomenal
back
nurse.
then, especially for women.
She said, I could never work in the baby ward. I can't handle emotionally seeing a sick baby. She goes, but anyone else I would have been great with. And, when she said she didn't pursue it because no one supported her, said, yeah, you can do it. It just broke my heart. My father, multi-talented, singing, writing music, charismatic performer, just didn't have the emotional wherewithal, never good enough. All this other, parents beating him down. And I feel, and I've talked to Fernanda about this, it's like letting go of this generational trauma, carrying this, I'm not good enough, I'm not supported. All this BS doesn't belong to me.
Nope.
All this stuff with your father doesn't belong to you, but we carry it. And this whole year has been about, I gotta let that go. Sometimes it gets thrown back in my arms because it's habit, right? Yeah. But they're like, no, you let it go. And James Lott Jr., starts to become even more defined and more crystallized. There's more clarity. And I found the same thing with my life, my path. It's not up to your father approving of you.
Right.
It's not up to anyone approving of us. It's about you. It's hard to put into words. You know what I'm saying, though. It's just finding that.
The thing for us in my family, because we came from such very, you could say, humble beginnings. My grandmother Lot, she raised 5 boys, which was basically off and on by herself, which is not easy. And 5, it was mixed race family, but 5 young black men basically in the 50s and 60s. All of them are very successful professionally. Personally, their lives are all up and down. So the lesson that I got to watch in terms of generational trauma was your personal life will always be up and down, but professionally you'll probably do really well. Isn't that crazy? So because they all became doctors and sheriffs, and my father is a vice president of this. And so my family, we excel. A lot of us go to college, which is rare for a lot of folks from South Central Los Angeles back at a certain time. My father and them were from Watts, from Nickerson Gardens, this project in the Watts, wearing holy pants, they had share pants, share shoes, but they're all highly professionally successful. Certain parts of town where they know Sheriff Lotz, they know Dr. Mark Lottick at Central Hospital. They know who they are. My father was always in the paper, Jim Lott, all the time. So they made their professional lives really good. So I learned that lesson. I could professionally be good, but the generational trauma lesson I learned was Relationships, I'm horrible. They won't last. They'll be good for a while, and that's it. So I had to break that. I had to really break that lesson. But sure, you can have it all, probably. You have both. Why can't you have both? It's the same kind of fervor you got put into both of them. But for me, it was always like you had it. And also, there was also a thing of being a Black man in America. I was taught you have to make it. You have no other choice. But you have to, and whatever it is, you just have to make it. So I had that kind of pressure on me. Like, you go to college after high school, you do this. And so I went down a whole path that I didn't want to go down because I thought that's what I was supposed to do. And I was very successful at it all. But then at 40, I was like, no, I'm not happy at all.
It's never too late.
It's never too late.
That's another
Yes.
logo, slogan,
Yes.
lesson, whatever
It's
you want
used
to
all the
call
time,
it this
right.
year. It's never too late. And I've shared this with you. Turning 60 this year I didn't give a rat's poop about 21, 30, 40 years of age. 50 I didn't care less, but 60? I was just having this conversation recently, probably with you,
Yeah.
okay, well, maybe it's because I'm closer toward, I'm not just midway, I'm closer toward.
Yes.
But then again, there are folks that don't last to 21 years of age.
They don't.
I can say I am on the other end of the time frame allowed, but I could be here till 90 and
sure
then
could.
and still hiking and doing my
Right.
thing. And
Right.
so, but 60 really boggled my mind.
Yeah.
And I chose to let it fuel me and inspire me. And I sought out creatives who were blossoming later in life to continue to inspire me. And you're part of that circle. But speaking of role models, we had the whole conversation about role models the other day.
We did.
Nicole Johnson is a role model for me. Catherine Kelly Lang is a role model for me. Maeve Quinlan is a role model for me. She and I are the same age, and there's thriving, and there's joy, and there's passion, and there's redefining whatever that number society says you're supposed to look like, you're supposed to feel like, you're supposed to, what level you're supposed to be at.
I'm heading towards 60, I know. But I've always been this person. I had this talk with some ex-AfterBuzzers once we had dinner together not too long ago. And they're all younger than we are. And they're just like, but James, you came in like a boss. You came to AfterBuzz. I said, but I was older than all of you. I got to AfterBuzz at 45, 46. You guys were in your 20s, maybe early 30s. So I already came in with all this experience. So it made it seem like I was just
perspective.
Right.
Yeah.
So I said, but that's the whole thing. And we were talking about my speech. I won this award years ago, and I made a famous speech about being older. And I said in the speech, and I think this is very true, I said, life does not stop at 50. We're still vital, viable, and valuable. And people started clapping when I said that. I said, do you believe that? We are. We have still a lot to say and a lot to offer. Life doesn't end just at 30, 35. And I ended my speech with this is for the old guys. And people were coming up to me afterwards, I'm an old guy too. Like, it was totally a positive thing. Like, people want to hide age, especially in LA, off the record. They want to hide age, not say age, and all this stuff. And I'm like, I don't mind saying that I'm 56, almost 57 years old. But I have a lot to offer still. You will not stop me because I'm of this age. There's a lot of ageism in this town, a lot of ageism in the business. And I've been told several times over the last 15 years, I was too old for this. Or, should you be putting out an album? Should you be doing? Yes, I should. Look at Cher. Look at Madonna. Look at Bruce Springsteen. Look at this. If Prince and Michael were alive, they'd probably be putting stuff out still too.
Absolutely.
Like, why do we have to stop at 55 and retire into, old agehood? Because you said we're living longer. You know, I might be here to 120 and still have our faculties. Dick Van Dyke, 100 years old.
Oh my gosh. Yes, I know.
Hello.
I know.
Look, I'm looking at Jane Fonda, 85. Barbara Streisand, like 80. I mean, they're still putting out stuff. They're just putting out stuff. And I mean, but they're showing us also that they're still vital, viable, and valuable.
I have something to say.
That's what you say.
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
I love older people. So I don't have anybody older than me except my Aunt Faith. That's it, basically. and she said to me, she's my spiritual advisor also. She said to me, I could not imagine waking up and not having dreams. And she's like in her mid-80s.
That's profound.
She calls me Harrison, my middle name. Harrison, do not wake up and not have dreams. And I was like, you're right. Because she's still working on stuff. I mean, she's retired, but she's not, her pace isn't the fastest. She's not doing it for the money. All her projects and things she does is for her. And then hopefully it'll bless somebody else, obviously. But she's like, do not lose your dreams. Like, or your logo. Was that powerful?
Well, one thing, and I've never done this before.
Ooh, okay.
When talking about dreams, I thought, I'm going to write down everything that's been accomplished.
Very good. I love that idea.
Share.
Okay.
And
Tell us.
So it started in March, which is ironic because I turned 60 in March.
Okay, you accomplished that.
So clearly,
you made it.
Clearly, there was some energy behind that.
Yes.
For the podcast, my podcast, Some Like a Classic, on your network, JLJ Media, 12 shows.
I know, that's good.
Since March.
I know, I love it. I love that show.
12 shows. It started with Margot Gerber from Art Deco Society.
Oh my God, that's a big one. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, Art Deco Society of Los Angeles. That was a Zoom. And then I think after that interview with her, that's when I decided I don't want to do Zoom anymore.
Okay.
And started searching for studio space. Joseph, can we get the logo back up? Thank you. So 12 shows. So it was Margot. I mean, with Ed. Ed's been just a blessing. Ed's been such a blessing. Yes, that's been Zoom because he's not here.
Yeah.
Amy Kay with the miniatures.
Oh my God, people love that.
It was so
one.
great.
Oh, people
Thank
love
you,
that
Joseph.
One.
Ryan Cassidy, which was he's just such a love and joy. Melody Ackles. We just love her.
We love you, Melody.
And she's going to be an ongoing, Some Like a Classic in studio gal because her brains just work. Annika Noel coming in and not talking about soap operas was so much fun.
Our girl.
Because she's a classic film enthusiast.
Yeah, you got to get her again.
Yes. Oh, yes, for sure.
2026.
So then Voices of Daytime. That also started in March. And so Jeff Kober.
Oh, the man.
I mean, talk about getting a first.
Yeah.
Having him as my first guest in studio, I was terrified.
Oh, he's the man.
He had just left General Hospital, and I was terrified. I was
so happy for you. I was so happy.
Oh, my gosh. And it was just literally because of the Times, just messaged, hey, would you be interested? Sure. Like, my gosh.
Number one, we also interviewed him at the Emmys a few years ago, so he knew of us and everything.
Yes, true.
So I'm saying, but no, he's the bomb.
Vincent Irizarry.
My friend. I love him.
Such a joy and love.
Yes.
Maeve Quinlan, who my girlfriend Debbie she was.
Well, now she's like talking to me all the time now.
Publicist for a long time. And then Patrika and Kevin Spiritus showed up with, as a surprise. Annika's engagement party.
Yes.
That, and fundraiser.
Yes.
Was phenomenal. Stacey Hyduke and her daughter Sophia came in to talk about their independent film, which was lovely. Tamara Clatterbuck, she was such unexpected. That was a Patrika Darbo. You should really talk to Tamara. She's a hoot and a holler.
She is a hoot and a holler.
And her storyline, her character storyline to this day still resonates. Right? With Cassie and everything.
Right.
So 7 shows for Voices of Daytime.
Very good.
And then started LA Off the Record in November with you. You're my first guest.
Yes.
And for LA Off the Record, I have January, February, and March is already filled up.
Good.
For both LA Off the Record, Voices of Daytime, and Some Like a Classic.
Very good.
So when I look into the new year,
yes,
it's really exciting.
Yeah.
It's really exciting.
I'm happy for you. I'm glad that you came to your own conclusion and said, I'm now ready.
Yeah. And the events we did,
Yes.
the Art Deco celebration, 100th
Yes.
celebration
Yes.
was terrifying because I'd never done something like that
Yes.
before. But Margot Gerber
Yes.
was phenomenal. And doing the daytime Emmys, being
did.
back
You
at the
did.
daytime Emmys as JLJ Media with JLJ Media.
Yes.
It was quite the show, but
And that craziness that goes
but
on
we
there.
did it.
You did do it.
Y&R 13,000 celebration, Annika, again, her fundraiser and engagement party, and the
bold.
ribbon cutting ceremony that
The
we
bold
did.
was good. That was
Yeah,
good.
thank you, Casey, so much for that
Yes.
invitation.
Yes.
Because that was such a special day.
Oh my God, it
On
was.
so many levels.
Oh my goodness.
And just to be a part of that family and Census Studios family was magical. I keep using that word, but it was magical.
And we were reunited with a lot of our friends who are so pressed.
Yes.
That was fun.
Yes.
That's fun.
Yes.
Because we're all out there doing our own thing. So we try, and that's what's grown this year too, is we've gotten together more. I've seen you more at lunches. We got together with some people. I've got together with Tony Moore, who I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for him, and others.
Likewise.
We just,
I always say it's all his fault.
it is all his fault. As Frank always says, it's all him. We wouldn't be here. I mean, but it's just, I'm saying that we have also solidified our back off the record friendships also this year, I think.
Yes.
And getting together and actually getting together and having lunch or having dinner or having drinks. I want to do more of that in 2026.
What are you thankful for coming to a close at 2025? What are you thankful for?
I'm thankful that I have most of my sanity still. I know I have some more uphill battles in 2026. I'm thankful for my company, JLJ Media and Super Organizer. Both are thriving. I have lots of plans for them. I'm thankful for my brother, JR, because we have gone through a lot together. We live together too, and we've gone through a lot together. And we've gotten a lot closer. That's something that I didn't expect. You have siblings. You grow, you go away, you grow. We've actually got a lot closer. Thankful for my sister Zandra and her husband Ricardo. I'm thankful for my kids and grandkids that they are always on my side. I have five grandchildren and 2 daughters. They're always on my side for me. Thankful for friends, including you. Thankful for friends who we have a good laugh. We can be totally silly sometimes. I need the silliness sometimes. But you're on my side too, looking out for me. I'm thankful for my house and my garden. You've been to my garden, my famous garden. It's so green right now. I love it from the rain. I'm so thankful that I live in a situation that I can actually live in it and thrive from it, and also be my sanctuary. I'm very thankful to have a roof over my head, a new roof over my head also. Those are things I say, those are the things I'm thankful for. I always say my health is, I'm not thankful for that right now, so I'm working on that right now. But all this other stuff hopefully will help support me getting back in good health and going through whatever I have to go through. What are you thankful for?
Oh, I feel like we're at the Academy Awards
I
because I,
know.
have my little notes.
I don't think the Academy.
Special thanks goes to, first and foremost, friends and family.
Yes.
Right? My husband, Ernie.
Ernie.
He has just so risen to the occasion for me when it comes to supporting everything that I've been doing, that you and I have been doing. He just has so much fun. He just gets so excited with everything that we do.
He does.
And he gets in there, when I needed a cameraman. He's the one that's figuring out how to run things and the sound, and it's been trial and error. And he's just so much fun.
Yes, he is.
How do you stay together for 26 years? It's because you have fun together.
That makes sense.
We laugh, we have fun, and support means the world. So obviously, JLJ Media, to you, who would have thunk from AfterBuzz?
I know.
To here, to today in studio together.
Right.
So much that we've accomplished together, that you've accomplished, that I've accomplished. so much to look forward to
Yes.
in 2026. And I'm looking forward and thankful to expanding our partnership
Yes.
in different areas as well. Super excited.
Me
So
too. Very excited.
I love you.
Oh, me too.
Edward Parati,
We love Edward.
my
Hi,
high
Edward.
school friend, right?
Yes.
Who would have thunk we'd be doing a podcast?
Right.
He's like, really? A podcast? You want me to talk? Okay, I love old movies. So that has been a joy.
Yeah.
And, you know, doing this once a month with him is just,
I love it.
It's just fantastic.
I love it.
Marissa Serafini.
Oh, my girl.
Her blessings abound. Not only is she just a beautiful human
Yes.
and super supportive, and she's just crazy talented.
Oh, she is.
In editing and her opinions. You know, when I asked her to put stuff together, I rely on her thoughts and her feedback and just trust her implicitly.
So do I.
And same with Flobo Boys.
Oh, boys,
right?
my boy. Yes.
He's just up the ante when it comes to me doing the Zooms.
Oh, yeah, that's
Like,
right.
okay,
yes.
I can do Zooms. If I've got Flobo behind the scenes, then it's elevated. It elevates the experience. And so I love him.
He's the best.
Lazy Pickle Studios is where we did the interview with Vincent Irizarry.
Oh, okay,
They're located in Burbank.
Okay.
And they're a lovely group
That's
of
cool.
folks.
I've never been there yet. So
Yeah, lovely group of folks. And was very thankful because Vincent was coming all the way from,
Santa Clarita or something.
all the way out there. So coming into Hollywood was a lot for him.
I get
So
that.
it was like the perfect meeting place. Burbank was like perfect for him. But at the end of the day, you podcast studios here in Hollywood with Joseph and Joelle and Oscar and
Oscar, yes.
and who else am I missing? Who? Tatum. I haven't met Tatum yet. No, she's the only gal. She's the only gal.
Oh, we haven't met her.
No, we should sit her down for an interview.
I know. We don't know her.
represent. So this place, this studio, is home. It will continue to be home in 2026.
Yes.
And we will continue promoting them.
Yes, me too.
We don't want them to get so busy that we get kicked out, but we'll figure it out.
Yeah, I'll be using them 2 more. So
And they have a new studio in New York.
Oh, that's right.
They have a new studio in New York, and next time I'm in New York, I'm planning a second trip. I will be reaching out for that because I have interviews in New York that are going to happen for JLJ and for LA Off the Record and all that stuff. So yeah, friends and family, Minerva, you guys know who you are. I'm just really excited about 2026 and just so appreciative of this, right?
Professionally, I'm excited for 2026. I think it's, personally, it's very unknown for me, but professionally.
But you are supported.
I'm supported.
You are supported.
I know.
Personally, you are supported, and you're not going through this alone.
No, I'm not.
No.
It's crazy. But I love professionally, I'm happy. I'm like, totally happy. The sky's the limit.
Say thank you to everyone who's listening to us. The audio podcaster listeners, yes. And who's watching this. Thank you for your support. Tell a friend. Tell someone you don't like because our shows are good regardless. We will see you again in 2026. This has been LA Off the Record. I am Tammy Govea. Thank you, James Law Jr. Make sure and check out his multimedia network on YouTube, JLJ Media. And raising a glass. Goodbye, 2025.
Goodbye.
Not looking for you in the rear view mirror, so to speak.
Bye-bye.
But here's to 2026, to magic.